howdy. Rigga here. Ta-da! I'm me, you're you. This is as it should be. Howdy, Meeps. How's it going? So... Yeah, so... The last adventure, this is... I couldn't complete it. The app hung. So I'm gonna try and do another one, a different one. And we'll see. We'll hope. We'll cross our fingers. We'll cross our fingers. We'll cross our fingers and our toes. Ow. And hope that we make it through this. But so basically, I guess I don't know. Spacetime did a wibbly wobbly, and the boss battle froze. Maybe we'll figure out what happened at some point in the future. But we just sort of do a crossfade, not really a flashback, a flash forward, or a crossfade into a different adventure. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do The Heist by DeSanto. And I have no idea where in the timeline this will occur, except obviously the adventurers. I guess it's kind of like the you know, sort of a Michael Moorcock sort of eternal hero thing where we're just gonna flash in and out of different adventures, and I guess it isn't really gonna necessarily have a clean. I mean, it's sci-fi and horror, so you know, they wake up and realize that they're, you know, they quantum leap into a heist, and so we're gonna just go from there. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, so much for Lima Prime. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Let's go ahead and oh, I've got the keyboard out here. Why is the keyboard out? I don't need the keyboard. Okay, put the keyboard and the mouse away. I've got the other controller. That gives me room. So we got the loot and the monsters. And let's see. And we've got the loot that we're carrying with us. And wow, this is out of order, isn't it? So befuddled mage, right? Let's see. How far can we go over? Oops, we got some sody pop in the way.
Okay, right there. How about right there?
Okay, hold on. I just realized I had some droplets of something or other over here. Let's get that a little farther away. Okay, I think I had a little water escape my cup. Okay, so let's see. Ambitious, misdirection. Wait. Oh, no. This is the befuddled mage. I accidentally grabbed the wild hunter as part of the loot. Okay, there we go. That makes sense now. Okay, we're fine, man. In case you're not up on current events. And the resourceful engineer. So the wild hunter ended up in a different spot this time, but that's okay. Let's see. I can't really see him, can we? Okay. Whoa! B! No, not right now. No. Hi. Go away. Jeez, B. That was BB coming to visit. BB has a leg that got hurt in a car accident a long time ago, and so she doesn't really use it very well, so her leap is a little less than graceful. Oh, poor girl. Okay, so let's see. And a fruit fly. That's what I get for making smoothies with bananas and having that stuff in the... Okay, so there we go. I sort of basically have things worked out. And I guess I should have checked after she leaped up. Hi. You want to sit in my lap? Okay. Come here. Come here, Pete. Come here. You can sit in my lap. You just can't be on the table. I'm busy. I'm playing a game. Come here. Come here. Hi. Okay. Okay, you can be in my lap. I know you're not going to stay there, though. You're totally going to try and get up on the table. Yes, you are. This is Beezer. This is little Bee. She's got such beautiful brown eyes. Very different eyes from any other cat that I really know, have known. You can see on my Instagram some pictures of her. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, now lay down. Lay down. Be a good girl. Come on, lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Oh, she's going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem. She's going to try and get up on the table. I know it. Okay, so let's go ahead and just dive in, shall we? Let's play this thing. Let's play the heck out of this. So we're going to separate the cards, adventurers, abilities, and sundries. Adventurers. Put away the adventurers you just created. The Heist is a solo adventure for a single character. Use the adventurer, the Wild Hunter, who happen... What? Oh my god, that's weird. So I guess maybe this is... The setup is, like, predetermined? Like you can't... Like when you're making the quest, maybe you can't mess that up. So anyway, put away the adventurers you just created. The Heist is a solo adventure for a single character. Use the adventurer, the Wild Hunter. Because the apps assumes you are using two characters, go into settings and set the timer to fast. Abilities. Draw 2 magic abilities and 4 ranged abilities. Do not draft, just draw cards. You may discard any number of cards and redraw 1 time. No. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the character I've got. I happen to have the Wild Hunter right here. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put away these guys. So the Resourceful Engineer and the Befuddled Mage. And let's see, Wild Hunter will get Sturdy Rope and Venison. And we'll put that over here. So this is his loot, their loot. I don't actually know if it's a male or not. Okay. So I sort of followed the instructions. Introduction. I am the Great Alfonzo, Master Thief, and I am here to tell you a story. This is a story of danger, daring, and adventure. It is a story of my early days, when I was less great than I am today. The story of my very first solo heist. A local businessman had received a shipment of precious but untraceable jewels. Being both greedy and unwise, he refused to purchase insurance for this shipment. That made him fair game to burglars such as myself. I knew that the jewels were in a small chest and stored inside his mansion. All I needed to do was sneak into the mansion, find the chest, and escape. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. Why would it even need to specify that it's the Wild Hunter? Maybe because it wants magic and ranged? I don't know, but okay. Alley behind the mansion. My story begins... we already begun the story. My story continues to begin in a dark alley behind the mansion. It was a moonless night, perfect for my work. The mansion was surrounded on 3 sides by a wall. By walls. a wall, I guess, easily climbable with thick ivy. One side of the mansion bordered the alley, and with a high balcony above. I had researched the house and knew there was a servant's entrance near the back wall. To reach the servant's entrance, I would need to avoid a patrolling guard and defeat whatever lock was in place. But which way was best to enter? Oh, I think obviously climbing the balcony. That seems obvious to me, right? We're going to climb the balcony. The balcony was the obvious choice. As I was saying, the rear section of the mansion was not in use, so there should not be many guards. The mansion was designed to resist climbing. The stones were fitted tightly to give no handholds, but time and lackluster maintenance gave just enough purchase for an expert climber like myself to reach the balcony. It also said that there was a whole bunch of ivy, right? So it says to roll a thing, but it doesn't say, like, you know, it should be like an athletics check, it seems to me. Right? Shouldn't that be an athletics check? So I should actually, I'll add one. And it's actually this is a strength athletics of 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use no, not on the table. Okay, let's roll. Okay, it was actually a 7, but plus 4 is more than 10. The balcony railing was spiked to deter climbers, but the Great Alfonzo scoffs at such things, even though the Great Alfonzo was not great yet. I smoothly and silently ascended the wall and leaped onto the balcony. Now, nothing stood between the future Great Alfonzo and the inside except a door of glass panels. Yeah, I don't have anything that does role-playing roles, so it seems like, yeah, there should be dexterity or something. I don't have that though, so we're gonna do this as a straight roll, I guess. It has to be a 6 or above. The door was locked, but it was a simple lock. In a flash, my picks were in my hand, gently turning the tumblers. And I got a 5. Okay, well, so less than 6. Alas, my pick was poor quality. It broke and jammed in the lock. It broke and jammed the lock. No pick or key would ever open it again. Fortunately, for a glass door, a lock is more of a suggestion than an impediment, and every stone is a key. I shattered a pane of glass with a sharp blow, and reached inside to unlatch the door. In moments I was inside, drifting through the shadows like a ghost. Unfortunately, a guard was attracted by the sound of glass breaking. We spotted each other simultaneously, and battle was joined. Unfortunately for him, he faced the future Great Alfonzo. Brigand, Tier 1. Okay, is a bandit... Let's see. Archer, footpad, brigand. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle these guys up to the top here. Oops, and I lost a Fae right there. Where'd the Fae come from? Why is the Fae at the bottom? Okay, let's shuffle them back. Okay, so Brigand is 10. And a tier 1, +1 damage from ranged abilities. Surge -2 to all rolls this round. All rolls? Including theirs? Okay, so we've got the... Oh, and I have to adjust this. Let's go to settings. Timer relaxed. No. Let's go to normal. Wait. Fast. We'll go fast. Because it's the one character. Draw the enemy and place it. Put the token. Okay. And shuffle and draw. So we're going to shuffle and then draw 3. So I guess the susceptibility to range damage might be why the Wild Hunter was selected as the character, you know? But still, I mean, I'm not sure you need to specify which character. I suppose specifying one character is maybe easier than specifying all the characters that would not work. Okay. Let's just draw 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, are we ready? Shall we start? Let's go. Start the timer. Trick shot. Okay, let's see. Roll. We'll do... We need... trick shot is a 9 or above. 1 target. That is a 6. So we'll miss, I guess. Darn it. Okay, so we'll miss. And next. I wonder if I should select that. We'll do Adventurers 1. And we'll go next. Oh, 1 damage. Okay, and shuffle and draw. So we'll put those back in. We're going to end up with a surge here really quick. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, ready? We'll start the timer and go. And phase shift 8, magic missile. Okay, so we're gonna roll a 5 or above. It is 12, so we're gonna deal 2 damage. One, 2. Deal 1 target twice this skill level's melee. I'm tempted to do that. No, let's just go ahead. Let's fight it out. Let's fight it out. And so the 1 damage. Okay, and then let's shuffle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then start the timer. Dodge attack. Rapid fire. Rapid fire. And enemy surge. Immediately follow the surge action listed on all remaining encounter cards. Abilities that do not affect surges. -2 to all rolls this round. Okay. So we need to do 9. Need to roll a 9. And that was a 2. So that was no effect. Yeah, let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Skill check. You must choose between 3 actions, then roll to see if your choice succeeds. Begin skill check. Dark charisma, dark athletics. It's actually pretty. Athletics is 4, and charisma is 3. So athletics is actually better. But we're gonna roll single roll, and we're gonna add each of the adventurer's athletics skills. Add 1 if the personality is dark. So we're actually gonna add 5 to this, and we only need 1 success. So we're going to roll, and we got a 14, so that's 19, so we got above 17. The adventurer that succeeds the check gains 1 tier 1 loot. Okay, let's just go ahead and grab this tier 1 loot. Well, actually, we do draft. Let's draft, because we're like that. We've done that in the past. Fireball scroll, sweet. True sight, or mead, or fireball. We gotta go with the fireball scroll. So we pick up we struggle this guy, we grapple him, and it's interesting that it doesn't really tell you. Like, you have to interpret the role-playing role, like what happens. Okay, so the role-playing role happens in the middle of combat. So basically what ends up happening is we end up grappling, and we do a strength athletics check, and while we're grappling, the scroll falls out, and we scoop it up really quickly. So that's what that was all about. Okay, so we're gonna draw 3 cards. We're getting close to running out, so we're gonna have to reshuffle in. So let's see, reflex or phase shift. We'll do reflex. Oh, that's a ranged, yeah. So I was just looking at my other stuff. So we're going to do 7 or above. That was actually a 14. So we're going to deal 2 damage. And the next time the target is damaged this round, play the top card from your ability deck. Which doesn't say hand, it's the ability deck. So we're going to deal 2 damage. 1, 2. I guess I'm going to go ahead and use the fireball scroll on him. The one that we swiped from him. One target takes 3 magic damage. So we're going to damage 3. 2, 3. And then we play the top card on your ability deck, which is a dodge attack. Oh, and he should have taken 1 extra damage. From that. And deal 1 damage and take no damage this round if it's an 8 or above. So we got to get 8 or above. And that's a 9. So that does work. It's 1 damage plus 1, so the brigand is toast. Okay, excellent. So we will go ahead and victory tier. Reset full health. And reset. Okay. The guard fought bravely, but never really had a chance. I left him unconscious in a comfortable armchair and proceeded into the mansion. Level up. Draw 3 cards from the ranged or magic decks. Choose one to add to your deck. Okay, well, I don't know about this. I don't know about the leveling up mechanic. It seems weird. I'm glad that it does it in the app, though, instead of making you track it externally. But it kind of seems like each quest, you don't really have a persistent character. You're supposed to start with somebody else. Let's go with magic. Where's magic? Okay, so we're gonna shuffle up the magic. Okay, so let's draft 3. Excuse me. So Soulfire needs a 10. Damage 1, plus 1 damage to each enemy and adventurer at 0 health. For each enemy and adventurer at 0 health. Or Blizzard is a 5, and it deals 1 damage to all adventurers and enemies. Or Shockwave, 12 or above, and deals 2 damage. But it needs 12 and above. Oh, and if you roll less than 12, all allies and enemies take 1 magic damage. Well, I mean, it still deals... It still deals 1. Let's go with shockwave. I mean, that sounds kind of fun. Okay, we'll use shockwave. So shockwave is you roll 12 or lower, and it damages all enemies. Success deal 2 damage. If you roll 20, it does double damage. That would be 4 to all enemies, which would be awesome. If less than 12, all allies and enemies take 1 magic damage. So basically, you're gonna deal 1 damage to everything most of the time, which is better than the Blizzard card, because you actually have a chance to do more damage than that. So yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. So we'll shuffle that in, and okay, I moved like the shadow of a ghost through the silent house. I knew the gems would be stored in the treasure room on the 2nd floor, and the only way to the 2nd floor was the staircase in the main hall. Except I'm already on the 2nd floor. As I passed through the house, I found a few trinkets and 1 useful item. Okay, so let's see. We're going to take a look at Tier 1 loot. Yeah, so this is an example of how there needs to be a way to store a variable so that like they can do a conditional on whether you went to the balcony or not. Because going to the balcony, you're already on this floor. And so that paragraph kind of doesn't quite make sense because of the choice I picked before. And I guess it might be just too difficult to do it in the current system. But if there were a way to store like a variable saying like, oh, I made the balcony choice, then you could do conditionals based on that. Okay, let's draft out 3 and see what we get. Fireball Scroll. Ice Shard. Deal 1 target 3 magic damage or mead. I mean, Fireball Scroll is much better, so we'll go with that. Because it can do 1 magic damage to 3 targets, or it can do 3 damage to 1 target. So it's slightly better than the other ones that I drew. I finally reached the main hall. It was a large regal room decorated with tapestries and statuary. A wide staircase rose to the 2nd floor balcony, flaring at the bottom with an elegant curve. The only blemish on this beautiful space was a scarred, alert-looking guard at the top of the stairs. Climbing the stairs was impossible while he was there, so I only had 2 options: convince him to move, or do not take the stairs. Climb the tapestry to the balcony. Fire an arrow to lure the guard away from his post. Let's climb the tapestry. I silently crept below the balcony, where an elaborate banner hung down the wall. The guard was alert, but focused on the stairs. He thought any intruder would have to approach from the front, but he did not expect the Great Alfonzo. I grasped the tapestry and began to climb. I'm going to call this an athletics check, so I'm going to use my strength. And we're going to roll. And 15 plus 5 is 20. I mean, I made it plenty. I quickly and silently ascended the tapestry and swung over the railing to crouch in the shadows. The guard was oblivious to my presence. I crouched in the shadows of the balcony and considered my options. So it repeats. I quickly, to crouch in the shadows. As I crouched in the shadows, and it actually, I crouched is the shadows, is what it says here. I crouched is the shadows. So I would have wrote, as I crouched in the shadows of the balcony, to to continue from the previous thing and also correct that error, and considered my options anyway. The balcony was wide, extending into long halls on either side. These halls were useless to me because the room I wanted was through the large double doors directly opposite the stairway. I had two possibilities: sneak behind the guard and through the door, or sneak behind the guard and knock him out. Well, we're going to sneak past the guard, of course. Of course. I decided to sneak past the guard, let him explain to his employer how the jewels were stolen while he raised no alarm. And so we're going to roll. I don't think athletics or charisma really help with this. And none of my abilities do. Okay, so we're just going to do a straight roll. We need an 8 or above. Come on. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. 14! Yeah, all right. Okay, so we did that. I quietly moved to the door and eased it open. There was no lock, and it opened smoothly. I ducked through with a laugh in my heart, and I closed the door behind me. Level up. Draw 3 cards from the ranged or magic decks. Choose one, and then go from there. Okay, so I keep moving this away, but we're gonna... let's do range this time. It's right on top anyway. Okay, so we'll draft out 3. 1, 2, 3. Anticipate. Place this card on an enemy. Next time it surges, adventurers may resolve their abilities before the surge. Or deal a flaming arrow, deal 4 damage. Or signal shot. All damage enemies would deal you this round are led to somebody else. I'm going to go with flaming arrow. So it's a 9 or less, or greater, and success deals 4 damage. If the target has 1 health remaining after flaming arrow, deal 1 damage. So it can deal some extra damage. If I can end up taking 4 damage if I fumble, but that's okay. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. We'll deal with that. Okay, so we're going to shuffle that in. Trophy Hall. I stood at the beginning of a hall of trophies. A pair of suits of armor flank the hall on my left and right. A square carpet covers the hardwood floor, between them with garish colors. Another pair stands further down the hall. At the far end are several display cases and the double door to the treasure room. My goal was in sight, and nothing stood in my way, but I hesitated. A great thief uses all of his senses, and something in this room smelled wrong. It reminded me of sawed wood and machine oil. Perhaps the armor was simply well maintained. But left suit of armor or the right suit, or examine the floor. The armor seems obvious, so I'm going to go for the floor because I'm an idiot. I lifted the corner of the carpet and found a thin gap crossing the hall. The thin gap suggested a trap door or pressure plate. I knew there had to be some sort of release in this room, but where? And so we're back at the trophy hall. Okay, so we're going to examine the Eeny, Miny, Mo left. Right. We're going to right. The right one. The suit of armor was polished to a bright sheen. It holds a long sword with a wide crossbar. Looking closely, I found that the sword ended in a rod extending through the pedestal holding the armor. By pulling on the crossbar, the sword could be turned. Ingenious. But to what end? Turn the sword right. The sword turned with light resistance until the guard pointed directly to the center of the room. Something moved under the floor. With a thunk, the sword latched into place. I stood at the... So we're going to examine the left. Suit of armor. Polished and bright. And I can pull it. Okay, so we're going to pull that one. Turn the sword. Left sword. Okay. Something latched into place. Okay, so let's walk down the hall. I proceeded down the hall, confident I had dealt with any traps. Only a few steps down the hall stood another two suits of armor, identical to the first. The colorful carpet across the space between them had a different pattern, and the suits wear different devices on their tabard, but otherwise there's no change. We're going to examine the floor. As I expected, I found a thin seam running along the hallway. However, the Great Alfonzo is not easily fooled. The seam was shallow and carefully cut into the wood to look like the edge of a trapdoor, but not cut completely through the wood. Examine the left suit of armor. Suit of armor polished, bright. I can turn it. Oh, well, okay, so let's turn it. Yeah, you're probably not supposed to do that, but we're going to turn it. Alas, even the Great Alfonzo sometimes makes a mistake. When I turned the sword, a hidden crossbow in the wall fired, the bolt striking me full in the chest. However, I was prepared. My precious body was protected by light armor. The crossbow bolt hit hard, but only penetrated slightly. The wound bled enough to remind me to be careful, but it was not life-threatening. So we're going to do 2... Examine the right suit of armor? Yes. Are we going to turn it right? We might as well. Oh, it was another bolt. Well, I should have just walked down the hall. Walk on down the hall. We're just going to walk down the hall. I reached the end of the hall where a large wooden door stood flanked by glass-topped display cases. I carefully checked for traps, but to my surprise, there were no traps or even locks. The treasures within were mine for the taking. Draw a level 1 and a level 2 treasure. I think there's a feral cat outside the window, and my cats are at the front window going, I want to play with you. Okay, let's draft 3. Lucky Charm, +5 to my next roll. Bargain Potion, or Magical Loot. We're going to use the Magical Loot. It's +4 to your next roll, or 2 targets take 2 music damage. And then a tier 2. That's exciting. Come on. There we go. There's not a lot of tier 3, and there's only 1 tier 4 in the loot. It seems like that's begging for an expansion. Okay. Let's go ahead and draft 3. A Resonator. Tier 2, use 2 uses once per round. Increase one target's persona or health by an amount equal to your highest charisma skill level, minimum 1. That would actually be a 3 for me. Nightshade. One target takes 4 melee damage. Deal double damage if a target is at 8 health or less. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Scroll of Chance. Turn 1 fumble into a critical success. I'm going to go with Nightshade. That's pretty cool. Okay, we'll go with Nightshade. Treasure room. I entered the treasure room to find it nearly empty. It was obvious that chests, boxes, and barrels of every description had recently been removed. The only thing in the room was a large, dark, wooden chest in the center. I was flabbergasted at the size of this chest. I was expecting a small box, but this was huge. It's a mimic! It stood 3 foot high, 3 feet deep, and 5 feet long. That would hold enough gems to buy a kingdom. I took a deep breath and focused on my task. Far too many heists end in tragedy because the perpetrator gets excited and sloppy at the end. I carefully checked for traps. There were none. I picked the lock. I was surprised. It was surprisingly simple. I lifted the lid, and I leaped back as a curved sword slashed at me from inside the chest. Wow, I didn't read that very well. I lifted the lid and leaped back as a curved sword slashed at me from inside the chest. The skeleton, holding the sword, climbed out of the chest with unnatural speed. Red coals burned with hatred deep in the shadowed eye sockets. Of all the possible defenses, I never expected an undead guardian. Was the owner mad? I had no choice but to fight for my life. Skeleton mage. So 2 undeads. So tier 3. Skeleton mage, tier 3. Okay, that was easy. And then floating skull. And floating skull. Okay, so we got those. Okay, skeleton mage has 18. It's tier 3. All adventurers take 1 damage for each undead in play during a surge, including those at 0 health. Whoa, that's crazy. Okay. And floating skull, +1 damage from melee surge. If at 0 health, revive to half health. Whoa. Okay, 2 targets take 2 music damage. Increase the damage your music or influence abilities deal this round by this skills level. It says abilities, but I wonder if you can use the... I wonder if it counts for loot. That's not clear. So I'm going to... I kind of feel like it would. Like you could use intimidation, and I could tap that to increase the damage your music or and influence abilities deal this round by this skills level. And then I've got a magical loot that does music damage. Okay, so we're going to shuffle and draw. Okay, so we're going to draw 3. Okay, so let's go. We're going to draw these 3, and we're going to pick something, and so we're going to do deal 2 damage, deal 2 damage. We're going to do magic missile. And that's a roll of 5. One target deals 2 damage. It's magic. But I am going to... I'm going to tap strength to deal one target twice this skill's level in melee damage, which would be 8. So that's going to take this down to 10. So that's tapping strength. And then I am going to tap intimidation to increase the damage your music or influence abilities deal this round by this skill's level, which is 3. And I'm going to deal 2 targets take 2 music damage, so that's 2 targets take 5 each. So we're going to take 5. And 5. And so we've used that loot. And then I'm going to do Nightshade. One target takes 4 melee damage, double damage if the target is at 8 health or less. Which will... Okay, actually, I'm going to roll this magic missile first. So we're going to deal... Hey, Chin Chin, stop that. I can take both of these out. I mean, screw it. Let's just do this. We're going to use Nightshade on the Skeleton Mage, which is going to kill him. It's one target takes 4 melee damage and double damage if health is 8 or less. Takes it down to 0. And then I'm going to use this Fireball Scroll. One target takes 3 magic damage, and that will take the Floating Skull to 0. Okay. And 2 damage and Victory Tier. And we're going to reset. Put the undead back. Full health persona is fine, and all of that fun stuff. Oh, I've got a scratch on my foot. One of the cats might have gotten me, or I barked myself. Anyhow, the skeleton fell to pieces. Its unholy enchantment no match for the flashing blade of the Great Alfonzo. I returned to the chest, and inside was a small coffer, small enough to fit inside a large pocket. It was packed with diamonds, emeralds, and rubies, a king's ransom, and in a very portable package. I exited the way I came, and escaped into the night. The first of uncountable successful heists for the Great Alfonzo. End. I'm gonna rate it 4. I'm taking 1 star off because of some of the typos and the way that they didn't flow perfectly well. I may actually just go ahead and to provide some feedback on that one thing, and then there we go. So that was successful. The Wild Hunter had a sort of quantum leap little adventure as part of the time stop that happened with the with the previous quest not finishing. Well, at least I could finish this quest. That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and call that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.